Every time Gypsy Rose goes on another podcast, I like to do my homework. I did a lot of research when it came to Andrea Dunlop. Do you remember her? The Nobody Should Believe Me podcast that Gypsy went on? Andrea Dunlop pretty much gained her experience in Munchausen by proxy by her association with her sister. Mind you, her sister was cleared and was given back custody of her children. In the area where Andrea and her sister were from, there was an uptick of diagnoses of Munchausen by proxy, and even these hospitals were being sued of that, similar to how Dee Dee Blanchard was falsely accused of Munchausen by proxy. Now, I'm not saying that Munchausen by proxy doesn't exist. That's always a talking point that they try to use. That's not what we're saying. It definitely exists, but not in all these cases. Can you imagine being a mother of a child that's not so well, and you're just going to doctor after doctor to get a clear diagnosis, something rare, possibly chromosomal, maybe microdeletion. And then when you finally get that diagnosis, what happens? The appointments slow down. Put yourself in the shoes of a loving mother trying to help your sick child, and then look at Munchausen in a different way. These are not the same things. Now, when I was researching Andrea Dunlop and her sister Megan Carter, I came to Mary Bridge Children's Hospital that had an old former director by the name of Dr. Elizabeth Woods. There's all kinds of media articles out there about what occurred. You see, this former director of the Child Abuse Intervention Program in Tacoma, Washington, provided false testimony under oath, lacked keyboard certifications, and made unsupportable medical child abuse Munchausen by proxy allegations. Her flawed findings led to the wrongful separation of children from their parents. Many children. Basically, there is this small little circle of experts in FDIA, formerly known as Munchausen by proxy. You see, a lot of these experts weighed in on the Dee Dee Blanchard case. You see, Andrea Dunlop runs with this circle of people. We're talking about Beatrice Yorker, Dr. Mark Feldman, retired Tarrant County Detective Mike Weber. She even wrote a book with Mike Weber. And I have made in-depth videos about all of this before, but I wanted to remind you, mainly because Gypsy has gone on yet another podcast with a man by the name of Javier. I might just call him Bob number 2, and he has ties to Andrea Dunlop. Now, even though Andrea's sister, Michelle Carter, got her children back, she is still adamant that her sister was suffering from Munchausen by proxy, and this is where she got her experience. So let me show you this clip.
It feels like we can breathe a little bit more now. I feel like I worry a little bit less.
Megan Carter of Kent is one of several parents relieved to hear one of the state's go-to experts on child abuse, Dr. Elizabeth Woods, is out of the picture. Her 7-year-old daughter Ellie told us last year how the doctor's accusations affected her young life.
They wouldn't let my mom visit me! They wouldn't let my mom visit me, even though she was my mom. But they're mean people.
In a joint King 5 and NBC News investigation last year, we revealed Dr. Woods accused Ellie's mother of abusing the child by giving her unnecessary medical treatments, putting her in grave danger, even though we found the doctor didn't have evidence to back up the claims.
There's nothing that can make us whole again.
Dr. Woods' opinion carried weight, and the state took Megan's 2 children away from her for more than a year.
Yeah, I remember the mean lady. She made sure that me and my mom weren't together.
Ellie cheered when her mom first told her the news. Dr. Woods is no longer employed at Tacoma's Mary Bridge Children's Hospital. And last month, the state removed her from a roster of select doctors CPS depends on in suspected cases of child abuse.
Remember when I told you last week that she's gone now?
The changes follow our findings that Dr. Woods lacks key medical training in detecting subtle but important signs of child abuse. We reviewed 4 cases where Woods said children had been abused. In Megan's case, in 2019, a King County judge ripped apart her testimony, saying her accusations were without supporting factual basis. And in 3 other cases, different doctors who weighed in disagreed with Woods' assessment that the children had been intentionally hurt. This Silverdale pediatrician was among them.
I would stake my medical license on the fact this was not abuse.
Dr. Woods has never responded to interview requests, and Mary Bridge previously defended the doctor's expertise. But last year, on this the same day King 5 and NBC News published the story, the hospital took action. A top executive told employees Mary Bridge was bringing in outside experts to review its child abuse program under Woods' leadership. A Mary Bridge spokeswoman recently confirmed Dr. Woods left the hospital to pursue other opportunities, but she didn't answer questions about whether the hospital fired Woods or if she left by choice. Seattle Children's, the hospital that manages the state child abuse prevention program, left open the possibility that Woods could someday rejoin the state's roster of child abuse experts.
Do you see it?
Well, Megan Carter's case was eventually dismissed in family court. Woods has weighed in on at least 40 criminal cases in the region, including at least 17 active cases where the stakes are high. Some parents could be headed to prison.
So you believe that without Dr. Woods weighing in, this wouldn't happen?
Yes.
One of those pending criminal cases belongs to Balin Armandaris, a 21-year-old Navy sailor from Bremerton. After Woods concluded her twin baby's fractures were the result of abuse, Kitsap County prosecutors charged Balin with felony child abuse.
Did you abuse your twins?
No.
She hired 3 specialized doctors who studied x-rays and medical records, finding abuse was unlikely. Instead, doctors concluded a metabolic bone disorder likely led to the breaks. But prosecutors listened to Woods' opinion that nothing could have caused the twins' injuries except intentional violence, and Balin lost custody of her boys. Following our investigation, area prosecutors are now questioning Dr. Woods' credibility. Last week, Thurston County prosecutors added her to a list of experts whose truthfulness has been challenged. And last year in Pierce County, Dr. Woods' name landed on a similar list. Since June, the Pierce County prosecutor's office has been sending letters to defense lawyers in all pending criminal cases involving Dr. Woods, notifying them of potential impeachment evidence against her, along with a copy of our story. And prosecutors in King and Kitsap County said it's possible they might do the same. Back in Bremerton, Balin says she fought for more than a year to prove her innocence, but she couldn't fathom another day without her boys.
It's really hard to just be like, okay, fine, like I give in. I'm tired, like nobody listens to the evidence anyways. You gotta know when to quit sometimes. So
last month, Balin signed a deal with Kitsap County to be able to visit her now 2-year-old twins. In an emotional reunion in February, the first time since they were infants,
Go get mama.
come on, go get mama.
Balin got to hug her boys. After learning about Woods' departure, she said she hopes authorities will take another look at the evidence to get her name cleared and her boys back home. Taylor Muir-Fendereski, King 5 News.
In Kitsap County, where Balin's case is based, prosecutors said after the King 5 and NBC story, they began a review of Dr. Woods' work. It's not clear how that could affect Balin's case or others like it, but under her current agreement with prosecutors, she could regain custody of her twins in 5 years.
If you ask me, that's pretty devastating. And you would think that the sister would back off and stop talking about it. But no, Andrea didn't. Not at all. In fact, she used this to develop her own podcast. And then she got a whale of a Munchausen by proxy case when she had Gypsy Rose Blanchard on it. And if you're interested in the specifics of what all went down between Andrea Dunlop and Megan Carter, I can make more videos about that. I have the paperwork. When it comes to these Munchausen experts, it's hard for me to trust them, especially knowing what I know when it comes to the Dee Dee Blanchard case and Andrea's sister. Now we have Javier entering the picture, and I'm going to play a little clip that'll explain the connection between him and Andrea Dunlop. And at the end of this clip, they mention B. Yorker.
A big deal, I think, in my book. Pretend is joining a new network called True Story Media with my favorite indie podcaster, Andrea Dunlop, with the podcast Nobody Should Believe Me. Andrea, tell everybody about this partnership and how we got to teaming up.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thank you for saying that I'm your favorite indie podcaster. That is high praise coming from you. I am so excited to have you on board with True Story Media, which is my new burgeoning podcast network. We are dedicated specifically to ethically made true crime content. So we are really trying to carve out a space in this industry and in this genre for, for shows like yours, for shows like Pretend that are, made with journalistic integrity, that are, that are putting something helpful and useful out into the world, and obviously keeping us entertained and locked in the whole time. Not everyone approaches this material the same way that I do, so I am just trying to band together a group of us that do, and obviously I have had my eye on you since the beginning. I'm so excited for this new collaboration. I really couldn't be more thrilled.
I am too. Throughout the 8 years of podcasting, I've been approached many times to join networks, and I never wanted to because I never really fit in with the true crime podcast. My show's not bloody and guts and all that stuff. And your show and my show, I feel like we're brother and sister shows because we approach it the same way, with a lot of curiosity, with journalistic intrigue. We're like chase down rabbit holes. And right before this call, you were saying that you spent the day going down a rabbit hole. That's what we do. And I think that's what our listeners appreciate. And so when you offered me this opportunity, I thought this was a no-brainer, because my audience would love to listen to your show. show and your audience would love to listen to my show just because we approach it the same way. So that's awesome. But that's not why we're here today. We are here because you just launched season 6 of Nobody Should Believe Me, right? Season 6, that's nuts.
Yeah, it feels like we have been moving at a really fast clip, but I am very, very proud of the work we've done on this season in particular. This was by far our most ambitious story that we've told, just in terms of its complexity and the seriousness of the implications. It's a story that really demonstrates the failures of every system that's meant to protect kids from this abuse, and just sort of at a level that I haven't quite seen before.
Well, I mean, and you warned me because I'm, binging it now, that it's pretty heavy stuff, but it's really important work. And I think, it's something everyone should listen to. So why don't we just play the first episode of season 6 of Nobody Should Believe Me, and we'll circle back after the episode to close this out.
Is one Michelle and I have been talking about covering on this podcast for years.
Please listen to me. Okay, I will, but here's what I want to say first. Munchausen by proxy is something that even New Yorker says you cannot recover from.
And she doesn't even agree with that anymore, Mama. She doesn't even agree with that anymore. You're right. And we ruin my damn life. We can leave New Yorker out of this. That's what I'm telling you. Y'all didn't hear me when I said it the first time, and I'm serious. I have talked to everybody and New Yorker, and I literally told her at one point I didn't want to speak to her anymore because I needed distance from her, because I knew how you felt about her. You have talked about her for years, and I tried to understand your point of view going into this whole thing. I am here in your living room because I have empathy for you, and I believe that there is good in you. And I love you. I would not be sitting here right now if I didn't feel that way.
Now, what you heard at the end there was another Munchausen case that Andrea Dunlop, Beatrice Yorker, all the usual suspects have been very involved in. I don't know much about that case, so I can't really speak on it. And I'm not here to sway your mind. I'm just sharing the information that I have. Take this information and make up your own mind when it comes to Andrea plus Gypsy equals Javier. And at the end of the day, when August 11th comes, I'll still listen. I'll probably live stream it, mainly because you never know when Gypsy Rose Manson's gonna slip up again. Now, I haven't watched or listened to any of the other stuff that Javier has put out because we know why we're here. We're here because of the liar, the manipulator, known as Gypsy Rose Manson, the person who got away with murder and was handed a very large platform to continue to invalidate the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard, her mother, and where we continue to see people on a daily basis normalize murder. Will Javier continue to perpetuate this false narrative, accusing the murder victim, Dee Dee Blanchard, and damning her name? Or will he truly be an unbiased figure in this discussion? I guess we'll have to wait and see. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, follow, reshare, and comment to keep this conversation going. Good night.